The body always remembers what you're trying to forget. And I know this firsthand in my own body and with the hundreds of clients that I've worked with over the last 25 years. And so when somebody first told me that your muscles hold memory in them, I thought, well, that's a bit outlandish. So then I set out to see if this was true. So in this video, what I'm going to do is tell you about the theory behind how the body is holding memories from past events, and some about the science behind that as well. I'm going to give you some examples of clients that have had conditions that healed overnight that I've worked with, or within a few days of working together. And I'm also going to give you ways that you can help healing your body with your own mind. So I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I'm a transpersonal psychologist and holistic nutritional chef. I'm the best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. And I'm an international speaker who is sought after to talk about how past events affect our physical bodies and how to release the emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that get stuck in the cells of our bodies. So it's a really fascinating field, and I've seen some amazing things happen over the years. So I want to share some of that with you today. So the body holds memories from past events, and it's being held in what is known as the body-mind. And it sounds a bit nebulous. It's a little bit different than your mind-body connection, but the body-mind has a mind of its own. And it is holding memories from past events. And it sounds really strange, I know, but it's fascinating how this happens. And there's a lot of therapists in the world that will tell you that this is the truth. A lot of people who've done therapies that are similar to the kinds of therapy that I do with my clients that will tell you that this is a real thing. So body-mind has a mind of its own, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more in a different video. But for this video, I just want to tell you a little bit more about how the body holds experience and examples of clients that had miraculous healings, or what people would call miraculous healings, but what I've come to see as when you release the emotional energy, the thoughts, the feelings, and the core negative belief that is driving the experience in your body, and those core negative beliefs get formed during experiences that are particularly difficult. So say you went through an abuse situation as a child, say you were sexually abused, and at the moment of the abuse, all these things happen in your body. Most people will dissociate or sort of jump out of their body to survive the experience. It's like this mechanism that we have. And then you will hold some kind of a belief, and often it's being held in that part of the body where you had the experience. And so to give you an example of this, I had one client who had anal fissures, and she had 3 surgeries for it, and she was about to have her 4th surgery for it. She had a horrible time with it. I mean, it was just so painful and so difficult for her. And so she found me somehow and worked with me, and we were able to prevent her from having another surgery. And what happened was during, and I'm not going to get too graphic in this, but she had an abuse experience that happened in that part of her body. And her body was remembering the experience of the emotions that she was going through while it was happening, her terror, her fear, her sadness that a family member was doing this awful thing to her. And so that thing that the body was remembering, and the beliefs that were also formed from the memory that was going on, it was basically encapsulated in that part of her body, and her body over time was reacting to this energy that was basically stored in there, in the muscles, where the muscles are storing the memory of the event. And so when we got to the core experience of resentment that she was holding, and we got to the beliefs that she was holding around this, and she was able to release the energy from it and understand all of the connections and see them simultaneously, she was able to let go. her body mind. She was able to let go of this experience from her body mind, which translates to the cells of the body, translates to the muscles in the body. And so within a few days, the anal fissure healed. She's not had any trouble with it since. It's probably been about 5 years at this point. And, we look at that and go, oh my gosh, that's miraculous. Well, we are miraculous. We're incredible beings. And the fact that we can heal our bodies with our minds, we can damage our bodies with our minds too. And I think that story really demonstrates it. And we do it unconsciously. It's not like something that she just thought about in the moment, and over time, having those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs wore away at her body in that place, because that's now a weak point in her body. So that's one example of how the body-mind holds a past experience. And you can hold an experience in any part of your body. So I've seen sexual abuse survivors. I've worked with a lot of them, and partly because I am one. I was sexually abused by a number of people as a child. And I've worked through these experiences myself, so I understand what it's like doing this firsthand and how your body can heal when you get to the core experience that created the weakness, the weak link in your body in the first place. And so I was starting to say that I've seen sexual abuse survivors that stored their energy in their bladder, and they had interstitial cystitis, or they had, and I've seen this with several of my sexual abuse survivors, or they had chronic infections in the bladder, or they had kidney infections that were associated with their sexual abuse. But I've also seen people store their sexual abuse in their heads and have chronic migraines from the sexual abuse that they endured. So one woman I knew, actually I went to school with, and her abuser would whisper into her ear that if you tell anyone, I will kill you. So she had these blinding headaches, that part of her body, because her body was holding the experience. That information came through her hearing. So it's just unbelievable what each one of us does. We are so unique and so different, each one of us. And so the work that I do really is about helping you get down to the core experience of what your body is holding on to, the memory that it's holding on to, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs associated with those memories and those past experiences, and helping you to release the emotional and mental energy as well as the core negative belief that is driving that experience in your body. And in another video, I'm going to go into the adverse childhood experiences study a little bit more, so that you understand a little bit about the science behind it, Candace Pert and her book Molecules of Emotion, and what she discovered. It's just so much incredible information. Your emotions can make you sick, but they can also make you well. And so I focus on helping to release the sickness of the emotions and how that's affecting your physical body, and the wellness that can occur by bringing in the emotions we all really want to feel. So I told you that I was going to give you some more examples as well of clients that I've worked with over the years. I had another client. You may have seen her story in some other videos or in other ways that you've seen my work. But she had sciatica, and she had ongoing sciatica, and she would have terrible pain all the way down her legs and have a very difficult time with walking. And she had sciatica off and on for many years. And what happened with her when we started to work together, and we worked directly with the sciatica, because she had a terrible flare-up, she could barely walk. So we worked with that, and we got to some emotions that were being stored in that part of her body, in her lower back, that affected her. But they were also connected to some beliefs that were being held in her body mind, but also that other members of her family had held this kind of belief that really wasn't her belief. And when we were able to sort of tease that out and understand all of the connections simultaneously, she was able to let go of that emotional energy. And over the next few days, her sciatica healed, and she hasn't had any trouble with it since. And I think that's been 2 years at this point. So that was really amazing that occurred as well. I had another client who healed digestive disorders. He was having a terrible time with digestion, and he had a history of the men in his family. His father, his grandfather had passed away from colon cancer. And so he was really interested in preventing colon cancer in his own body, and he was concerned that was forming in his body. And so when we worked together, we went back to what I refer to as an archetypal story that he was holding in his body. So it wasn't an experience that he had as a child, but it was basically a story he was holding in his body. And I know it sounds weird, but stay with me for a moment. And when we got to the story and how his body was basically torn up from these beliefs he was holding from the story, and his intestinal tract was basically torn up or worn away from what he was holding in his system, and he was able to release that holding, and that the emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, he healed, and he hasn't had any digestive issues since. They just made things where you expect an issue, but he hasn't had the severity of the digestive issues he had. And that's been now probably about 5 years since he and I work together, and I check in with him from time to time, and he'll let me know, like, hey, yeah, I'm still doing really well with this. So that's really awesome. So, one of the things that it takes to work with somebody like me, or somebody who does somatic experience or somatic work in general, is an open mind and the openness to try something different, to learn something new, to really do something that you may not have thought you would do before. So it does take busting through some beliefs that you may be holding, but it's so worth the journey. I got to tell you, I had to bust through a lot of beliefs and early programming and all of these ideas that I had about health and wellness and healing, and what a pill is supposed to do for you in order to heal my body of over a dozen illnesses. I mean, my story is really intense: drowning, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and then also I was struck by lightning, and then I had over a dozen illnesses. And so my life has been all about healing, helping myself heal, and then helping other people heal as well. And this connection on how the body remembers these past experiences is profound. So if this sounds at all interesting to you, I would love to have you book a free call with me, and we can talk about if this could fit for you. It may resonate with you, and we may not be a good fit for each other, but I talk to everybody I work with before I work with them. And so my main modality that I use is a modality that I created based on Rohan therapy, energy medicine, energy work, inner child therapy, past life regression therapy, all these therapies that I was trained in and certified in, sort of combine them into my one whole person integration technique. And I teach coaches, therapists, healers, and conscious health practitioners this modality so that they can help their clients and themselves, because you can do this technique on yourself, help them to release this emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and how the body is storing those. And so I certify people in my course, but I also work with people one-on-one all over the world, and I'm getting more and more people that are certified in my technique that maybe you'll want to work with them. So I would love to talk to you, as I said. So I think I've covered everything I sort of wanted to cover in this video. Maybe just a quick little list, though, of things that you might want to research if you're looking for something like this that could help you. You can look up somatic re-experiencing, somatic therapies. Soma means body, so it's the body mind. You can look into energy work. You can look into Reiki, especially if you find somebody who's certified in other things along with Reiki. So maybe you find a psychotherapist who's also a Reiki practitioner, or a transpersonal psychologist like myself who also practices Reiki. I'm actually certified in it as well, but I don't do energy work in that traditional sense anymore, like in a Reiki session, but I do use energy work constantly in the work that I do with my clients. So there's so many different ways to get help and to try something different, especially if you really feel just that this really resonates you and you're just like, oh my gosh, my illness is really so much associated with past experiences. I know it is. Then you'll want to learn more about this. You can go to my website as well at meghaworth.com, book a free call with me. The links are below. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with as many people as you think might benefit, and ring the bell for notifications so that you can get future videos. But I would love to help you in any way that I can. You can go to my blog. There's lots of information on there that can help you. There are articles, and I just hope that you will take your healing into your own hands and that this information will help you get well now.